That's where I see Houston right now, this very minute. If you don't know it, Houston today is the epicenter of education reform in our country. Of course, we have KIPP and Yes Prep and their founders Mike Feinberg and Chris Barbick. These two are proving that charter schools can provide sustained, high-quality education and can do so at scale. By 2014, they'll be sending more kids to college than HISD. And there's Yellowstone Academy, and Provision, a unique school for at-risk boys, and Small Steps, a faith-based preschool for underprivileged kids, and REAP at Rice University, the Rice Education and Entrepreneurship Program supported by both the Jones School and the Houston Endowment, and many more that I'm leaving out. Then there are the totally new educational models, like Cristo Rey, a Jesuit high school where 4 students share a full-time job between them and essentially pay for their own high-quality college prep education. They're practically brand new, driven by a visionary and energetic leader, Father Martinez, and they just raised $1.8 million at their first school gala, the largest in Houston this year. By the way, way to go, B. Dixon. Or Genesis Works, headed by its visionary founder, Jorge Alvarez. Genesis Works changes the life trajectory of underprivileged kids by enabling them to work in meaningful internships at companies during their senior year in high school, better preparing them for success in college and success in life. Many of you in this room employ these kids, as does El Paso, and I can tell you that it is us who are blessed by them and not the other way around. Genesis Works results are phenomenal. Or the House of Tiny Treasures provided by Search, where the children of the homeless of Houston are provided the education and counseling necessary to succeed in school. Here's what Bill Boyer said last week at the Search annual luncheon, quote, "After spending time working with organizations whose missions are to end hunger, end homelessness, and educate our most at-risk children, the most important thing I've learned is that it all starts with educating our kids. 59% of the adults at the Search Learning Center have less than a 4th grade education. Another 37% are 4th to 7th grade level. That's 96% of the adults at Search's Adult Education Center with less than an 8th grade education. And there's Teach for America. TFA has been in Houston for 20 years, and with 500 core members, it is the largest concentration of core members of any city in America. And guess what? Half of them stay in Houston even after they complete their 2-year commitment to Teach for America. That means that hundreds of the nation's best and brightest college graduates are choosing Houston as a home, a larger impact in any given year than the largest company in the city. And TFA's new executive director, Terry Bruner, has big, big expansion plans. And lest you think this is a charter school story, you know who the largest employer of Teach for America core members is? It's HISD, the largest in the city and the largest in the country. And their new leader, Terry Greer, is embracing this as a way to build human capital in the nation's 7th largest school district. 10 to 15% of new teacher hires in HISD each year are now TFA. This year, 27,000 students in HISD will be taught by 363 core members. And our own James Calloway, along with many others, is working tirelessly to improve public education with the Apollo 20 program. These are but a few of the pushes on the flywheel. None of them by themselves offer the opportunity to achieve that vision I laid out a minute ago, but in combination, they can. In fact, they already are. And people around the country are noticing, adding another push. Education reformers and some of the world's largest philanthropists, people who have last names like Gates, want to be here in Houston, where education reform is real. The flywheel is moving, and in many ways it's rotating the right direction, but it's not rotating fast enough. And so we need lots more shoulders at the wheel, pushing and pushing and pushing until we have that breakthrough, when the momentum of the wheel takes over, and when the kid not graduating from high school and not going to college or community college is the exception and not the rule. Finally, I've left out one of the pushes. In fact, I've left out the most important push. This is Texas, and this is Houston. Come on, you all know it. We don't have to be bashful. This is the most welcoming, most compassionate city in America. It's a city with the greatest of pioneering legacies. We all in this room stand on the shoulders of the Smiths and the Allens and the Browns and of Jesse Jones and the Cullens and the Loves and so many countless others that came to this city, made it their home, made their fortunes here, and then reinvested their time and their treasures back into Houston so that we can enjoy the city that we know today. And it's not just individuals. I can't think of anything more consistent with the goal of a company to maximize long-term value to their shareholders than making investments that lead to greater and greater human capital in Houston. That's the single largest determinant of success in a knowledge-based economy. Many, many companies are already heavily invested in quality education, but more is needed, especially now. And that brings me to the topic of citizenship. Citizenship originated in its popular notion in Greece, where it wasn't seen as a public matter. Separated from the private life of an individual, citizens saw obligations to community as an opportunity to be virtuous, and it was a source of honor and respect. Aristotle famously said that, quote, "To take no part in the running of the community's affairs is to be either a beast or a god." And I believe this is where Houstonians have it all licked. We get that more than any other city. Richard Fisher, the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, used a quote recently that I think captures my feeling about the odds of us achieving that vision I laid out a few minutes ago. To be admired throughout the world as the first major city in the nation to face its educational challenges head on, to fix the problem, and to vault itself from laggard to peerless, a city where every single child is offered a high-quality education to prepare themselves for the jobs of the 21st century. The quote Richard used is from T.R. Fehrenbach's History of Texas-styled Lone Star. Fehrenbach distills the Texas spirit, for which you can substitute the Houston spirit, into one simple sentence. Men who exist get overrun by men who act. So what's it going to be? Are you going to exist, or are you going to act? Thank you very much.
Doug, I thank you so much for those inspiring words, and we all know innately that education is so important, but so many times we don't really focus on it like we should. And you have given us individual direction on what we need to do for the future. Thank you. Yvonne, Rufus, and Leslie, could you join me here, please? I didn't ask you to stay just so that you get a good standing ovation, but because we do have something, a token of appreciation for your preparation and your thoughtfulness today in making this speech to this august group. And so we'd like to present you a little token from the Center for Houston's Future. We also particularly want to recognize our presenting sponsor, Chevron. So, Joni Baird, would you please join Leslie and me and let us also share with you a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
And thank all of you from the Chevron table here who I met earlier. Without the sponsors and without the table purchasers, this event could not be what it is. Thank you so much. As Doug concluded, he said, are you going to exist or are you going to act? And that really gives us a send-off as we go our way. Also, Doug, I will say that you have not read the scenarios, I don't think, but education is key in these scenarios, and as you participate with us in months to come, you will see what an important role and a pivotal role that education or the lack of education plays in these stories about what our future may be like. And as you go forward today, please remember the Center for Houston's Future. Remember our indicator studies that next year, this year, we are addressing education. We addressed water quality, and green buildings this past year, and we are involved in the leadership of our community. Thank you so very much. Oh, before we go, I forgot this. Catherine Mossbacker and the staff, will you please stand and let us thank you for what you do? We have a very small staff. We have 7 people, and they do a tremendous job. And the interesting thing is that everybody's job is everybody else's job. It's a cooperative group, and with your support and the support of those who help our organization, we're able to function. Thank you so very much.